LSJ Drive.
You're listening to LSJ Drive. I'm T.O. Karov, and coming up on the show in the next half an hour, farmers are warning dog walkers to keep an eye on their pets. This comes as the £1,000 fine for livestock worrying has now gone up to an unlimited amount. Our reporter, Cara Joubert, looks at a new gardening group for veterans with PTSD and asks how being outdoors can help with their mental health. A fun time for the ages in Lincoln Festival of History, as well as Lincoln women football fans enjoying a massive victory as they won the County Cup final. And it's National Bond with Your Dog Day. Stay tuned for a quiz with Cara about our furry friends. That's all to come on the LSJ Drive. But first, let's hear from Eve with the news bulletin.
Wes Streeting has quit as Health Secretary. His resignation, which follows days of turmoil for the Prime Minister, paves the way for a leadership challenge. In a letter to Sir Keir Starmer, Mr Streeting criticised the drift at the top of government.
He has said in this letter, having lost confidence in your leadership, I have concluded it would be dishonourable and unprincipled to remain in post. He says, where we need vision, we have a vacuum.
A new law has increased the £1,000 fine for livestock worrying to an unlimited amount. The cost of attacks on sheep and cattle in the UK rose to £1.59 million for farmers this year. Farmers are urging dog walkers to be more careful with their pets while out enjoying the countryside.
If you think you know your dog, you don't. They work in packs, but they will work alone. And once they get that red mist, they will go after something. And no matter how hard you whistle or blow whistle to get your dog back, sometimes it won't. And they will get in a frenzy. And if you've got them on a lead, you've got them. But if you haven't, and then once they get that taste of blood, they will do it again and again and again.
A charity for veterans with PTSD have started a new gardening group as a form of therapy. 1 in 17 people in Lincolnshire are veterans. The charity Green Synergy are holding a plant sale this Saturday to raise funds and awareness.
There's a few of us that suffer PTSD and it just gets you out of bed. It's a purpose. Other than that, I was stuck in my house for God knows how long without any help whatsoever and not getting out of bed, not doing anything. But now it's a purpose and it gets you out.
A 7-year-old girl was burnt by a flare while waiting for the Lincoln City promotion parade in the city. Brooke, who was there with her 4-year-old sister Bria, was injured when a flare was dropped on her moments before the parade went past in Riseholme Road. Brooke's mum, 28-year-old Ms Peckham, said she's doing all right and the burn wasn't serious. Controversial plans to change a Lincoln nightclub into student housing have moved forward. JSO Holdings have responded to criticism from Historic England due to size, so it has been redesigned in efforts to win planning permission. Level nightclub, previously known as Mocha, Beer Keller and Pulse, was originally going to be converted into 79 student rooms, including a 2-storey roof extension. Sir Ian McKellen will take on his first major theatrical role since falling off the stage. He'll star in Lear, a reimagining of Shakespeare's King Lear, at a small theatre in East London later this year.
And now at 3:22, let's take a look at our first story tonight. For the dog owners, did you know it's illegal to worry sheep and cattle by letting your dog run free off its lead in the countryside? Well, a new law means unlimited fines for owners who let their pets attack livestock. Farmers across Lincolnshire are urging dog walkers to be more careful, but with the new legislation, make a difference. We've sent our reporter Eve Gormley to farms in the county to find out.
For many farmers, this is one of the sounds they dread most. It's the frantic cry of a sheep under attack. One loose dog can devastate a flock in minutes, and as spring arrives, so does the surge in livestock worrying. I'm on my way to meet Henry Morton, the National Farmers Union's Lincolnshire County Chair, at his farm in Bucknell, where he grows crops and keeps sheep.
A dog is bred, basically, from hundreds of years ago. It was a wolf. They work in packs, but they will work alone. And once they get that red mist, they will go after something. And no matter how hard you whistle or how hard you blow your blow whistle to get your dog back, sometimes it won't. And they will get in a frenzy. And if you've got them on a lead, you've got them. But if you haven't, and then once they get that taste of blood, they will do it again and again and again. And some dogs will go for miles.
As the weather warms up, more people are out walking their dogs in the countryside. And every year that creates a growing problem for farmers. The £1,000 penalty for livestock worrying has now been replaced with an unlimited fine.
We had a case up here about 3 or 4 months ago where I think this dog was in a field of 35 sheep. I think it actually killed 2 sheep by tearing at their throats and bits and bobs, but they got the rest of them in. They were so distressed, I think they lost them all. And that's without the lambs.
National Farmers Union Mutual insures farms, rural businesses, homes, vehicles and livestock. I'm now heading to meet Hannah Binns at her dad's farm, who's NFU Mutual's Rural Affairs Specialist.
As a farmer's daughter, I know how much hard work goes into rearing livestock and the bond that farmers, have with their animals. So these attacks can be highly distressing. We've been campaigning for years and we really welcome the extra powers contained within the new legislation. So it gives police a greater ability to hold to account dog owners who let their dogs attack and worry livestock.
The cost of livestock worrying to UK farmers has risen to a staggering 1.59 million. When the next lambing season comes round, we'll see whether this new legislation brings change for Lincolnshire's farmers. Eve Gormley, LSJ News, Lincoln.
Thank you, Eve. And now, did you know that today is National Bond with Your Dog Day? To celebrate, Cara is here with our weekly quiz. So, Cara, what's the question we're asking the audience this week?
Yes, so the question we'll be putting to you guys is, if your dog were a human for the day, what would its profession be? Now, I'm a cat owner, so I'm not qualified to have an opinion, but I think my pet would certainly be a therapist. She's a great listener, so shout out to Pixie. But let us know your answers.
In sport, people describe the Lincoln Grand Prix as one of the best races in the UK cycling calendar. It is the longest standing event and it marked the 70th anniversary on Sunday. I went out to find what all the fuss is about. The race was a major success as people of all ages gathered to support the riders. The infamous Michaelgate ascent, described by many as one of the most gruesome climbs in cycling, was branded as the University of No Regrets climb this year. A few days before the event, I went along to Michaelgate on my own bike to find out what all the fuss was about.
Up the hill we go. Okay. And into the cobbles. Absolutely dying. Oh, that's me. It's safe to say I will not be becoming a professional biker.
Someone who ascended Michaelgate with a lot more ease was 21-year-old Morven Yeoman, who won the women's race, marking her first win in Lincoln. The women's race started at 9 a.m. and concluded just after midday. Yeoman was delighted with her win.
This is my 3rd time, but yeah, I'm very happy. I've never been in the top 10 before, I don't think, so yeah, really happy to take the win today. The cathedral is absolutely stunning and the crowds on Michaelgate it's just incredible.
The event also saw the return of British cycling legends Russell and Dean Downing. The Downing brothers have won the race 5 times between them before making their return to Lincoln for the first time in over a decade this year. 51-year-old Dean Downing had high praise for the Lincoln GP.
The best, yeah, absolutely the best. It's like a cycling amphitheatre. Yeah, they got the cobbled climb, which is very much like Belgium. You got the cathedral bit now. You got the vistas. It is the best course that the UK has, really.
It was hardly just world-renowned cyclists taking part in the event, however, as a local hero was emerging. 19-year-old Felix Earth from Grantham took part in his first ever Lincoln Grand Prix and was already starting to become a crowd favourite. He has high hopes for the future.
The dream, for a lot of people in this race, is to kind of, make it as a career.
So I'm 19 at the minute. Probably one of the youngest in the race today. Local lad, it'd be really special, to win in front of all my friends and family.
It will certainly be interesting to see whether Lincoln can finally have a local winner next year. Yeah, hopefully Felix will be still competing at the Lincoln Grand Prix next year. And now, with the news headlines, you're listening to LSJ Drive from the University of Lincoln.
The Health Secretary, Wes Streeting, has resigned. He criticised the drift at the top of government. The £1,000 fine for livestock worrying has been increased to unlimited under new legislation. Dog walkers are being urged to be more careful as the weather heats up. A charity called Green Synergy has started a gardening group to support veterans in Lincolnshire with PTSD. A 7-year-old girl was burnt by a flare while waiting for the Lincoln City promotion parade in the city. Her mum, Ms Peckham, says the burn wasn't serious. Controversial plans to change a Lincoln nightclub into student housing have moved forward. JS Holdings have redesigned the plans due to criticism from Historic England. Sir Ian McKellen will take on his first major theatrical role since falling off the stage. He'll star in Lear, a reimagining of Shakespeare's King Lear, at a small theatre in East London later this year.
The weather now. It has been surprisingly cold for this time of year, and rain is very likely tonight. Temperatures will drop to as low as 6 degrees overnight, and tomorrow will be slightly warmer at 14 degrees.
LSJ Travel.
And if you're on your way home tonight, there are no major accidents or incidents to tell you about. However, it is busy on the East-West Link Road, Tentercroft Street and West Parade. Lincoln women fans finally have something to cheer about after a very long season. After a massive 6-0 win in the County Cup final, the newly merged team have their hands on their first piece of silverware following a disappointing season. Our reporter Kieran O'Reilly was at the ground. Kieran, a dominant win for Lincoln. How was their performance on the night?
It was a great win for Lincoln, definitely a performance to be proud of and one to work on. 6 goals with 3 different goal scorers, the whole team can really come together to win this trophy. The crowd of 345 created a brilliant atmosphere, and it was a great advert for women's football in Lincolnshire. Lincoln started the game early, going 3-0 up in the first half, with Spalding struggling for any reply. The dominance continued into the second half with 3 more goals and a convincing win. The highlight of the match was hat-trick hero Amanda Miller getting herself 3 goals on the night in a player of the match performance. She was delighted with herself and what it meant for the team.
I think it was a good game. We all played well as a team. After a tough season, it was nice to come off with a win. I think I played well, probably my best game this season. It was nice to come out with a hat-trick, just end the season on a high.
And Kieran, a great win for the side in the end, but this result means more than just a trophy, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Manager Tom Padden is so pleased with the win after only joining the team early this year. It has been a really tough season for the side, with Tom being their 3rd manager of the season. The merger between Lincoln City and Lincoln United was announced in the summer, but results on the pitch haven't gone to plan with just 1 point from 9 league games and bottom of the Midlands Division 1 table. So to come here to Boston and put in a performance like this, 6 goals, a clean sheet and a hat-trick from Amanda Miller, it feels like a proper statement from the team. After the game, I spoke to his manager, Tom Padden, and it was clear that this isn't the end of the season, it's the beginning for the team.
Today's day 1 of next season, not the end of this one. The hard work really starts now. We had this time to get to know the players, them to get to know me. And obviously we've been planning for next season since I came in. That's why I came in when I did.
So, what's next for Lincoln women? Where do they go from here?
Padden was clear that planning was already underway for next season, with priority going to recruitment and a proper pre-season together as a squad. Despite finishing bottom of the league, there is real optimism now that this cup win is the foundation they need to build on. A great finish to the season and a great representation for what's to come next in women's football in Lincolnshire. If the side play like they did this final, everyone should be looking forward to next season. Kieran O'Reilly reporting from the Jakemans Community Stadium in Boston.
And now, let's get back to our quiz tonight with Cara. What answers have you got for us?
Well, we've got some great answers from the listeners. We have a dog who is a librarian because he prefers the quiet and getting older, so he just enjoys sleeping these days. Honestly, I can relate. And then we've got Dudley, the dog who would be a model, according to Dudley's owner. Now, what do you think about this? We've got Dudley dressed up in quite the attire.
Yes, from what I'm seeing here, Dudley is wearing a lot of Christmas gear, so for me he wouldn't be the best model because it is not Christmas, but Dudley is a very, very cute dog, indeed. Let's get back to the show. The Festival of History returned to Lincoln last weekend for its third year in a row. The city was filled with stalls of medieval craftspeople, armories, live reenactions and market stalls. But for some, the festival is not just a fun activity. Our reporter, Ren White, went to the festival to speak to some of the stallholders.
I am currently walking down Lincoln's High Street to go and visit the Festival of History. The High Street bustles with activity from children and adults alike, as they are itching to get involved. But for some stallholders, this isn't just a fun activity. This is their livelihoods. I spoke to Susan Cowley, one of the stallholders of the market and the owner, about how she got into the market and how it supports her financially.
When the Bishop's Palace stopped having a market because the building was too unsafe, we were all devastated because most of us used to trade up there, and it was like that would pay for January, February and March because most of us just trade. We don't have another job or anything. And we were devastated, and we were like, we need to take control of our own destiny with this, and so we set up our own market. When we got married, we went to Cosmoston Medieval Village just for a day out and went on a great tour there. It was fabulous, and we were entranced. And we said, can we be a volunteer here? Then my husband became a medieval tour guide, and for the next 13 years we pretty much lived in the 14th century, which was quite hard. But it changed our lives completely.
Each of the traders brings something new to the table, whether it be craftswork, artwork, or even music. It's clear that the people here have honed in their crafts and turned it into a way of work and a way of life. For more on this, I spoke to Timothy Dawson about the kind of work he produces.
I sew clothes as well as leather. I do metal work, bit of woodwork, rope crafts.
I spoke again to Susan about the work she and her husband create.
My husband and I do preserves of all sorts. We started specialising in jerky, and we do fruit leathers, historical sweets, all sorts of sauces, pickles, smoked peanut butters. My husband's got ADHD, so we just cannot stop inventing new things.
It's clear to see that the market won't be going anywhere anytime soon. Ren White, LSJ News.
Thank you, Ren.
LSJ Drive.
You're listening to LSJ Drive from the University of Lincoln. Now for the news headlines with Eve.
The Health Secretary, Wes Streeting, has resigned. He criticised the drift at the top of government. The £1,000 fine for livestock worrying has been increased to unlimited under new legislation. Dog walkers are being urged to be more careful as the weather heats up. A charity called Green Synergy has started a gardening group to support veterans in Lincolnshire with PTSD. A 7-year-old girl was burnt by a flare while waiting for the Lincoln City promotion parade in the city. Her mum, Ms Peckham, says the burn wasn't serious. Controversial plans to change a Lincoln nightclub into student housing have moved forward. JSO Holdings have redesigned the plans due to criticism from Historic England. Sir Ian McKellen will take on his first major theatrical role since falling off the stage. He'll star in Lear, a reimagining of Shakespeare's King Lear at a small theatre in East London.
The weather now. It has been surprisingly cold for this time of year as rain is very likely tonight. Temperatures will drop to as low as 6 degrees overnight, and tomorrow will be slightly warmer at 14 degrees. Now we have Kieran with the sport.
LSJ Sport.
Thank you. Grimsby Town are set to conclude their League 2 playoff semi-final against Salford City with David Artell's side going into the fixture 2-1 down. Though it's been a massive few days for sport across the county. This weekend we saw Lincoln City's bus parade after their spectacular title win, and on Sunday world-renowned cyclists Dean and Russell Downing returned to the 70th edition of the Lincoln Grand Prix for the first time in over a decade. The Lincoln race is one of the most prestigious and longest-running races in the UK cycling calendar. Dean Downing was full of praise for the Lincoln GP.
The best, Jack. Absolutely the best. It's like a cycling amphitheatre. They got the cobbled climb, which is very much like Belgium. You got the cathedral bit now. You got the vistas. It is the best course that the UK has, really.
Lincoln women fans finally have something to cheer about after a very long season, following their massive 6-0 win against Spalding, getting their hands on the County Cup trophy. Manager Tom Padden wants to use this as a foundation to move into the next season.
Today's day one of next season, not the end of this one. The hard work really starts now. We had this time to get to know the players, them to get to know me. And obviously we've been planning for next season since I came in. That's why I came in when I did.
Next, Lincolnshire FA is introducing a new 3v3 structure for under-7s. It will significantly impact grassroots football for younger players. However, these plans have caused controversy among parents and coaches. Michael Clark from the FA comments on this.
And it's the new format for under-7 players, giving children more opportunities to be involved in football, play and provide the best introduction to the game. They'll maintain smaller formats to encourage players to move more and develop their technical skills. The 3v3 format provides young players with a fun, fast-paced introduction to football. With fewer players on the pitch, children have more opportunities to make decisions, develop their skills and contribute to the game.
Meanwhile, Man City refused to hand Arsenal the Premier League title, beating Crystal Palace 3-0 last night. Now, just trailing 2 points to Arsenal with 2 games to go. Also, drama in the Scottish Premiership as Celtic scored a controversial 99th minute penalty, causing the title race going down to the last day between them and Hearts. In snooker, Wu Yize was crowned champion in the World Championship final, seeing past Sean Murphy.
Now, we all know how good gardening is for mental health, which is why this group in Lincoln uses time outdoors as a form of therapy for veterans with PTSD. The Green Synergy charity is one of the few support groups in Lincolnshire. Seeing its positive impact in person, Cara Joubert reports.
Woodwork, gardening, and honest conversations. These are the simple things that make a massive difference in the lives of veterans in Lincolnshire. Set up by Mary Hollis, Green Synergy's Seeds of Recovery programme is one of the few local support groups for former service members. One of them is Dave Parker, a former member of the Army, now given the mission to sort out the tea and coffees.
There's very, very little for veterans in Lincolnshire. To come down, chill out, and just, it's like being back at home, back in the services, because there's banter, taking the mickey out of each other. There's a few of us that suffer PTSD, and it just gets you out of bed. It's a purpose. Other than that, I was stuck in my house for God knows how long without any help whatsoever, and not getting out of bed, not doing anything. But now it's a purpose, and it gets you out.
Sarah Sanderson is an occupational therapy student. She's been a part of the group for the last 3 weeks, trying to understand how this method can be used for future support for veterans.
Everybody really enjoys to come here. It's the garden environment is really welcoming, and people enjoy getting stuck in with the garden activities like sanding. I think it is the natural environment. I think that's what ties everything together, because there's so many things you can do in nature, and it's great for mindfulness and well-being.
According to data from the Office for National Statistics, there are nearly 45,000 veterans living in Lincolnshire. Kane Wright is a wellbeing facilitator. He believes it's the honest conversations that make a difference, which he credits to a natural, non-clinical environment.
It's very organic and very natural, and like I say, add in the sunshine, and I think it covers so many bases of not only physical health, but the mental health aspects of that as well.
The group are making plant pots to sell for a fundraising event on the 16th at Words on Hillside Garden to help keep this space running.
Until more support is given to Lincolnshire's veterans, groups like these are about more than just time outdoors. They're a lifeline for those.
Apologies, we're just having a few technical issues. Just give us some time. We'll be back on air very, very soon. Sorry about that. Now we're back for part 3 of the quiz. We've received some more answers from you. And Cara, what else can you tell us from the quiz?
Yes, well, we've got a few more answers in there during that short unplanned break. We have a cat who would... Sorry, no, not a cat. We have a dog who would be a cesspit drainer because he stinks. Now, I think that's quite cruel, personally.
Very cruel.
But I do also understand, because I do indeed have a cat, called Stinky for good reason. What else have we got? We have another wonderful creature called Hercules, who would be a rugby player because of how many things he headbutts.
Some very interesting answers there from Cara's quiz. We'll move back on to football swiftly. Football at grassroots level is set to look very different for the younger players as a new 3v3 format is being introduced by the FA for under-7s. But these plans have sparked debate between coaches and parents. Our reporter Alice Toynbee has more information.
Grassroots football is set for a major change in the 2026-27 season, with the FA introducing a new 3v3 format being for under-7s. The format is designed to give younger players more touches of the ball and more opportunities to have fun while playing football. It's all about having fun rather than being competitive. I've come down to Yarborough to see what these 3v3 events are like and just to get a bit of a taste of what it's like in person.
What you will notice is the kids, they won't shout for anything, so if the ball goes out of the way, they're not going to put their hands up and say it's my throw-in or anything like that. So,
Luke Craggs, Football Development Officer of the Male Pathway at the Lincolnshire FA, says the move is aimed at improving player development at a young age.
Giving children more opportunities to be involved in football, play and provide the best introduction to the game. Part of this, they'll maintain smaller formats to encourage players to move more and develop their technical skills. The 3v3 format provides young players with a fun, fast-paced introduction to football. With fewer players on the pitch, children have more opportunities to make decisions, develop their skills and contribute to the game.
but if they're just happy to keep playing, just let them keep playing.
Supporters of the change say it could help children build confidence and enjoy the game more, while others question whether it changes football too much from the traditional format. And for some, the biggest benefit could be the impact on girls' football, with Director for Football and Growth and Retention Mark Pover saying a positive first introduction to the game may help long-term participation.
Especially for girls, I mean, but just generally, is if you can come to an environment where you're really enjoying yourself, the natural progression is to say, well, yeah, I want to keep going, I want to keep playing, I want to keep going on. Whereas if you don't know, you know, suddenly they're setting up an under-8s team or under-9s team, you've never really done anything. You're a bit nervous about coming down, you don't know the people, you don't know the setup, you don't know where you're playing or what you're doing.
Despite the potential benefits, the introduction of 3v3 football has a divided opinion, with some arguing the traditional small-sided formats already work well for young players. Whether it proves successful or not, the new format is set to become a major talking point in grassroots football ahead of the 2026-27 season. Alice Toynbee, LSJ News.
Thanks, Alice. You're listening to LSJ Drive from the University of Lincoln. Now for the news headlines with Eve.
The Health Secretary, Wes Streeting, has resigned. He criticised the drift at the top of government. The £1,000 fine for livestock worrying has been increased to unlimited under new legislation. Dog walkers are being urged to be more careful as the weather heats up. A charity called Green Synergy has started a gardening group to support veterans in Lincolnshire with PTSD. A 7-year-old girl was burnt by a flare while waiting for the Lincoln City promotion parade in the city. Her mum, Ms Peckham, says the burn wasn't serious. Controversial plans to change a Lincoln nightclub into student housing have moved forward. JSO Holdings have redesigned the plans due to criticism from Historic England. Sir Ian McKellen will take on his first major theatrical role since falling off the stage. He'll star in a reimagining of Shakespeare's King Lear at a small theatre in East London later this year.
That was Eve with the bulletin. Thank you so much, Eve. Now with the weather, it has been surprisingly cold for this time of year as rain is very likely tonight. Temperatures will drop to as low as 6 degrees overnight, and tomorrow will be slightly warmer at 14 degrees. And if you're heading back home from work tonight, there are no major accidents or incidents to tell you about. However, it is slow moving in the usual spots on Carholm Road and Rugby Road. And it's time to wrap up our quiz for the evening with Cara. What else have you heard?
Well, this one's probably my favourite, and this is a creature who would be a food critic. And the audience member here has said, with the amount of random food I find him eating, I wouldn't be surprised if he had some real big thoughts about bread brands. Now, I don't know about you, but a dog with a bread addiction is quite concerning, perhaps. But the dream job is food critic. Of course, I'm curious to ask you, though, if you've had any pets before, or if you know any that you would allocate a role to.
Yeah, surprisingly, I have never had a pet in my life. No dogs, no pets. But my girlfriend does have a very cute border terrier who, if I were to describe him in a human job, I would say something to do with being extremely lazy because he's a very, very old dog.
Well, so long as he's not chasing those sheep around, that's good to hear.
I don't think he'll be doing that. And thank you everyone for joining us this evening. It has been great to hear about the success of the Lincoln Grand Prix, gardening as a way to improve our mental health, and Lincoln women's thumping win, among other stories. It has been a fantastic 3 years here at LSJ Drive.